welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I hope that you are having a great day so far. Today I just wanted to talk about this webtoon series that I really like. I remember reading this series like ages ago when it first came out. It just recently popped into my head again, so I went back and reread it, and now I just really have to talk about it. So here I am. Before I start, I just want to apologize in case I mispronounce any of the names in this series, because it is a Korean webtoon and I'm not very proficient in pronouncing Korean names or Korean words in general, so I'll try my best to pronounce any of the names or terminologies as properly as possible, but in case I can't, I'm really sorry about that. With that out of the way, let's just begin. The webtoon is a series that came out in 2010 by artist/author Ha Il-kwon, and it is a psychological slice of life drama known as Annarasumanara. Annarasumanara basically tells the story of three main characters. Our main protagonist, Yoon-ai, who is a smart but impoverished high school student. Na Il-dong, her classmate, and he comes from this really rich, privileged family. And a third character who, throughout the course of the story, is simply referred to as the magician. The story mainly focuses on the interactions between these three characters and basically how chance encounters have the ability to change the course of one's life. This is not going to be a full in-depth review, so I'm not going to go into much details, but I do want to discuss two things that sort of stood out to me while I was reading this webtoon. First and foremost is the artwork, which I think is phenomenal. So unlike traditional manhwas and webtoon series, Annarasumanara is penned mostly in black and white, with little bits and pieces of color splashed around here and there, which works really well given how dark the overall theme of the story is. The artist also experiments using a combination of both 3D graphics and 2D line work to sort of give the series a feel of realism and surrealism, because Annarasumanara as a whole is a very visual series. All of the detailing in the sets, the backgrounds, the character designs, and the use of minimal coloring kind of adds to this form of very subtle storytelling, which goes beyond just the overall narration and the dialogues present in the series. For example, if you take the character of Il-dong, when he's first introduced, as a reader, you're kind of taken back by his character design, because every other character around him is always commenting on how good looking or how handsome he is. But you take one look at him and he is the only character in this entire series who has this weird elongated radish head, which makes absolutely no sense for half of the story. But as you go towards the end, you find out that his character design is like that on purpose. It adds more depth to his personality without it just blatantly being spelled out to the readers. Personally, I love that the entire series is in black and white, more so because before I read Annarasumanara, I was mostly reading mangas. I sort of had this bias against reading webtoons because I was so used to reading things that were in black and white, and the only reason I picked up Annarasumanara in the first place was because it was black and white. I'm so glad that I did, because not only is this a great series in my opinion, but it also kind of opened the doors for me to go out and explore and read more manhwas and Korean webtoons. That's a huge part of why I love the artwork as well, other than it just being superbly fantastical. The second thing that stood out to me is that the series kind of tackles some very heavy topics regarding the pressure and expectations that a lot of kids these days go through from their peers, their parents, society in general, and it mostly highlights how much these expectations can affect the mental well-being of these kids. It also tackles the subject of what it means to be happy in today's world and to be deemed a successful adult. Do we live the way we do because we're just victims of circumstances? That is basically the main theme of the entire series, and it is done just so well using these three characters. So on one hand, you have Yunai and Ildong. Yunai believes that she has to give up on her childhood dreams and quickly grow up to become this responsible adult because of the circumstances that the reckless actions of her dad has left her in. Ildong, who is from a very rich and privileged family and basically has his entire life mapped out for him, but he doesn't know whether the path that he is walking on right now is something that is out of his own choice or if it's something that other people have paved out for him. Both Yunai and Ildong believe that they have to become responsible people because that is the only way that they can be accepted in society and eventually lead a satisfactory life. But on the other hand, there is the magician who lives in this abandoned theme park and is basically ostracized by everyone in the surrounding neighborhood and deemed as like eccentric and dangerous because the people around him don't understand what his deal is or why he just lives according to his own whims. But he's the only character in the entire story who seems genuinely happy and satisfied with the way that he is living his life. Yunai and Ildong both at different times sort of encounter the magician and his indifference towards other people's attitudes and his nonchalance and almost this childlike nature eventually makes them realize that they should stop shouldering the burdens that other people have put on them, and despite the circumstances, it's up to their control how they make the most of the life that they have been dealt with. Overall, Annarasumanara is a very thought-provoking, emotion-evoking story. If you enjoy visual storytelling that deals with some very heavy-handed topics, then I can't recommend this series enough. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a very short series. It's only got 28 chapters and you can read it for free on the Webtoon app or any manga website for that matter. Thank you so much for staying with me and listening to me sort of gush about this series. I really appreciate you taking your time to be here, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!